Well, we finally came to it. No, it's not the riots. Not any of that. Try to adjust the mic and things here. Uh, the Second Amendment, folks. The dreaded thing where the only thing we care about is having a gun to shoot a snake into itty bitty pieces. Seriously, you really thought people thought it was anything else. Anyway, we're going to go on with, instead of what the general public's education is probably at on it, over to, just going to slam some people today. I mean, it's Sunday. Everybody feels like they're forgiven, repented, whatever it is. Let's go to Walmart and cuss the people for them working on the day of the Sabbath and how all them common workers that are keeping our society together since they've not been shut down again in a lockdown are the most evil people on the face of the planet. Yes, they are. And you have the right to bear arms against them in any form or fashion. There shall be no limiting of the arms, and there shall be arms used only in whatever it is, as the vast, cooped up church militias, turkey shooters, whatever, come to rain hellfire down upon everyone, and the only thing you have is basically Beato, if his group is elected in office. Or else they'll probably just all join Antifa and Black Lives Matter and be like, we're black too. And it's like, well, the government classified me as that whenever I was younger. And they have all the DNA tests to prove of it. And I've been told by people never to have another DNA test again. And I'm like going, after 3 years of that, and yes, it went through the 90s economy and I squandered it all trying to go to college instead of just going, I'm going to wait until I'm 25 and figure out how to blackmail somebody to let me in the military. Then I could have used it for a house, cheap land in outer Alaska. After all, they'll always get the money back. And that brings us to this part of the Second Amendment. I'm going to break this down into kind of a bunch of little things. The Nazi explanation of the Second Amendment. We have removed that which is everything across the board as you being an independent group, and you will fight to give us the strongest people from there and see who all survives through deals and sheer warriorness and everything else until we are superior and everything, and you are expended because you have the right to bear arms. You have no independence from us now because there's no declaration of law. And then, therefore, we can use our side-beam powers, and you'll just blame the Queen of England or somebody. And you will go around the world doing whatever it is until you can't bear arms anymore. And then you give it away to us. And the Nazi explanation is basically what the legal explanation is around here, and they do run most of our science still. Not really gotten that many scientists from Al Qaeda into war on it. So, under everything with the explanation of the Second Amendment, underneath Nazis, which you all swear have to be white atheistic nationals when there's just as many black Nazis. It was founded by a guy who was brown, more or less, from Italy, and Germany just said, don't worry, we'll make sure they always blame us because you're our best buddy. Emperor Hirohito was like, I just want to be able to communicate with people, and I'm kind of a recluse, but I don't like it said that way. Looking at everything here from the situation over it, I will say I watched this other show, I'll say his name because I watched him. I'll be honest, I will never take anything the way that 90% of probably anybody does over a joke. But I'll still be laughing right along with you and just being like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. That is so racist. And it's like you just can't help but laugh at whatever it is. And everybody's like, there's nothing racist with that. I was like, oh my God, how do you. God, I'm with like the evil Satanists here or something else. Whatever you want to call it, the evil secularists hiding underneath whatever it is. The ones that Beato doesn't know about for guns and their removal. I'm just saying out there, and this guy with Awake JP is a beautiful comic. I'm sure I put something down on there, and it's like it's just a Bible Belt thing with how much they kill Jewish people and look for wherever, whatever goes to, and how basically Rome has tried taking over this area since like 1809 or something else, and lots of all their propaganda and everything else around here. And I'm just going, so they protected the pedophiles out there because it's a right to bear arms, like the Nazis say, because there's no such thing as rape, and women have a biological clock, and that no matter what, they were doing something that turned them on, that they knew that they needed to breed with them for bettering the situation around there. So there's no such thing as rape because there's the right to bear arms. So we're going to go with the Democratic philosophy and say that it needs to be removed because basically the Nazis have taken over the Second Amendment. And they did so by basically coming here and getting into the military that will always have the right to bear arms. Not sure if I understand this completely. But Awake with JP, they were all acting like they were eating mushrooms and they were writing the amendments and everything. Which you can say I'm doing that here because I know the people that are up the road that are police, undercover, came from the the Third Reich, and fought for Mussolini, are undercover officers in dealing with the mushrooms, so much so that it made holy fucking shit. And I've seen them high at work on their undercover job on mushrooms, and then went to Arizona and said, you're just going to give us the right to start selling that here in Colorado. End of story. I mean, they are way more than American Gangster. And they say that girls with a muffin top are homosexuals and that guys are supposed to have the muffin top because it shows who's supposed to be homosexual if it pushes their pants down in the back or else in the front. That's why every man, if they're a man, has to be made into a muffin top. And they use a police ban on it and play with mercury in your system. They descend from Mussolini. So, anyway, back to Awake with JP. They were talking about how everyone had the right to have guns, but the bad guy would come over and shoot the person with the gun. Oh, wait, the bad guy came over and shot some people, but they really didn't think about technology. The founding fathers thought about technology because they're always upgrading the arms they could have for technology. Better cannons, flintlocks, percussion caps, no cannon light rifles, go to strict flintlocks, everything they could have out there for it. In-chambered, non-wet powder, opening hits and everything else. I mean, just the amount of weaponry in every single war that just goes up in the USA. We really push like gun technology, cannons and everything beyond anything. It's really us. I mean, they may have space satellites somewhere else that can zap everybody, but we really do that. I mean, the Gatling gun, machine guns, everything else came from basically United States situations. Even if they had it in some sort of thing out there, they couldn't mass produce it and make it into anything without the USA. And anyway, the bad guy came over there and shot someone, but whoever stopped him, tackled him during the 90 seconds it would take him to reload and everything, instead of pulling his gun and shooting someone. But coming back to the Nazi explanation of everything, that's how they explained that we were able to beat them and be the total fascist power They removed all fascism from them. So they were the anti-fascist power because they had already had that removed from them. Kind of like the powers of Christ and everything else, since they weren't with the Catholic Pope and had defeated him. And then they were defeated by a group that made a deal with the Catholic Pope. It's weird logic, but I've had it forced down my throat so many times over at like school and just playgrounds and now adult land, wherever adult playland is, politics and stuff, that it really is just crazy. But anyway, since there's a guy that could bear arms and shot the person because they were annoying, and the other guy was just going to tackle him, but he still had the gun, so he could beat him to death with a chunk of metal. Because back then the guns were just like, giant chunks of steel, so they wouldn't blow apart. But I'm just saying, like they said, we had gone through the entire nation, killed everybody who disagreed with us, and we all spoke different languages, but were telepathically connected in the forms of that which was murder, kill everyone, and there was no one else to do anything to. So we had to go out and be the greatest soldiers on the face of the planet, using our telepathic soldier kill power, and killed them. And they didn't know anything about that because their people, who were the sacred mystics that stayed in there, they just kept throwing over the walls of like Rome and out the front gate when we besieged it and everything, because they actually still had a wall around a good chunk of the city. Yeah. I sent a tape in over 3 people that had confessed a whole bunch of stuff really detailed to the Library of Congress, and they sent it back and said, this specific tape with this specific title didn't make it. It's missing now. Can you furnish us a copy? And the person's name on it is supposedly the only daughter of Emperor Hirohito's lineage with a native islander of the Japans before the emperor and his men came there. But she sides with the Japanese Empire. So they're letting like the highest ranking Nazis we have here from Africa, Japan, or Rome go over all my stuff that I send to the Library of Congress, because they have the right to bear arms even though they're not really USA citizens, because they held arms against the Constitution. And they weren't citizens to begin with. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. But anyway, they even addressed the envelopes and emails to me. Yeah, they're still kicking. That's basically kind of it. I mean, I really wish I could say more about him, because just watching how mushroom trips and everything else were on Awake with JP, and I seriously go, maybe all the Nazis were on shrooms. But we only really get our rights from basically whoever we were at war with last, saying, this is what you all had and had the ability for, because you've lost everything from before then. Not really sure what else to say about it. But there's the Nazi explanation, trying to do things with Awake with JP and, make some references back to it. And it's a little bit like, okay, if they were on shrooms, the ability to bear arms, is it really something international? Is it really something else out there? Let's go over that in the second part of this. Like and subscribe. And watch Awake with JP. I mean, it's just hilarious. It's however I keep from going crazy around here.